Guys, Alex back for another movie review. Today's gonna be a fan film. Godzilla versus Trespasser. The last time I reviewed a fan film was Godzilla versus it was The Return of Godzilla, what am I thinking? So if you guys have a fan film you want me to review, just post down in the comments below. Give me the link if you want to, but yeah. I sometimes like to review fan films if I'm have nothing else to do. Also, guys, check out my new film, Godzilla King of the Monsters. In my opinion, I think it's a pretty good film, pretty much. So, yeah. So this review, we're gonna start out with the plot. Now, Michael thinks I ripped him off for this movie. If you guys remember, I made this movie called Godzilla Flight of Mothra. Then I have this movie called Godzilla 2014 Character Poll. Trespasser was on the list, and obviously I was trying to make Godzilla vs. Trespasser about like 5 months ago, but the figure ran out of Toys R Us. So until recently I got the Trespasser figure, but it just so happened that Michael also made this movie before me, and now he thinks I ripped him off, which obviously I did not, because I planned this out like 5 or 6 months ago when the figure was not in Toys R Us, but then it did pop up in Toys R Us, which happened to be the time that he was making this film. But yeah, so let's begin with the plot. So the plot, there's nothing really much to it. I mean, basically in terms of speaking, there's like this military base. They have this crazy guy. He's supposed to be crazy, and he thinks he saw a monster. Apparently, it's not Godzilla. So in this kind of timeline, apparently the military deals with monsters because he says it's not Godzilla. So obviously everyone is aware that Godzilla exists in Michael Zillcraft's universe, so they're kind of used to his attack. So anyway, the military sends off a battleship to try and stop Trespasser, which is obviously not going to work. And the ship goes down in about a few seconds when we see this giant hand dragging it down on the ocean. So Trespasser makes landfall in what I presume to be San Francisco, since he always has the Golden Gate Bridge, I guess. Anyway, he makes landfall in the city, and the military sends out the Gotango. Now the Gotango, man, the Gotango is probably my favorite, or if not one of my favorite ships in the Godzilla universe. I mean, it's like this giant submarine. It's like a submarine battleship. It's like a battleship. It's like a battleship, a submarine, a jet, and a tank all combined into one thing. You get the Atragon. And it has a drill at the end. I mean, this thing is so epic. It's like this monster of a thing. And the Atragon first appeared in the movie, The Atragon. It also made another debut in Godzilla Final Wars, known as the Gotango. And then it also appeared in Godzilla Unleashed as a boss. Now, the Atragon in Godzilla Unleashed was one of my favorite bosses, and the character who piloted, Captain Geozen, he even had his own storyline with it, so it was pretty cool seeing the Atragon return. Now, what really sucks, though, is that Trespasser went in the water, and he destroyed it with one hit. Yes, Trespasser destroyed the Atragon with one hit. No, Trespasser, he died by conventional weapons. He died by jets, tanks, and a nuclear weapon. Or he didn't die by nuclear weapon, but it says he died by jets and tanks. According to Raleigh and Pacific Rim, he says it took 7 days for the military to kill with jets, tanks, and missiles. Obviously, the Atragon should have killed Trespasser, or yeah, the Atragon basically has like a maser cannon. Trespasser surely should have died by a maser cannon. Maser cannons are basically these high frequency electric waves heated up at thousands of degrees, and when shot at a monster, they usually hurt it. They even kill the gargantuans, and they really give Godzilla a hard time. So that should have at least done some damage to Trespasser. But you know what? Nope. Trespasser comes up in the water, swipes him down, and boom! The Atragon's history, pretty much. And I really felt disappointed because I really liked the Atragon and I always considered it as a formidable foe for any kaiju. Even for Ultraman for himself. So, boom, Trespasser's like, he's wreaking havoc until Godzilla finally pops up. Godzilla and Trespasser have a fight, and of course Godzilla finishes off with his atomic breath. So that's really all the plot really goes to. Basically, I remember Michael saying he has the series called Godzilla 2014 Versus. The first one was War of the Monsters, where Godzilla fought off against Baragon, King Ghidorah, and some other monsters. And then he did one called Godzilla vs. Gamera vs. Ultraman. So it's basically like Godzilla 2014 versus the world in this series. And apparently he fought the Trespasser. yeah, that's basically the plot in terms of speaking. You know, the movie was 7 minutes, so it wasn't really gonna have like some big major plot like my movies used to have. My movies don't really have much of plot anyway, because Ramona would used to make a movie with plot. They either used to be very bad or they used to be extremely long with nothingness. But yeah, guys, that's for the plot. Now it's time to go to the next section of the review. So now it's time to go to my thoughts on the characters. Now, characters, there's not really too many characters. Michael Zillacraft basically voices everyone in this movie. So I'm gonna go over the characters that, well, the characters usually only get like, I don't know, like 1, 2, or 3 lines at the most. 3 lines at the most. And yeah, it's just that the characters don't really get too many lines. So you have Captain Rex. Yes, guys, Captain Rex is in this movie. Now, what I find so weird is that I've seen so many fan films of Godzilla where they have clone troopers as the military soldiers. Now, personally, I just find that so bizarre because clone troopers use laser guns, they're clones, of course, and they're from Star Wars, not even another Kaiju franchise, so yeah, it's just pretty weird. But you have Captain Rex, you have the crazy guy, as they call him. I'm not sure what figure that was, but they basically have this character. He's like crazy. Like he's the guy who said he saw a Trespasser first. Of course, he's not crazy because that all ended up happening. You have the battleship captain. You have Commander Cody and Commander Thayer, or I forgot. You know, the other clone troopers. You have the Gotango pilot. And you also have the 2 other military soldiers that were talking at the base, talking about how the Gotengo was destroyed. And then you also have the survivor guy. So the total of 9 characters in this movie. Wow, I cannot believe there's so many characters. So my thoughts: the survivor guy, he didn't really play much of a big role in this movie. He just kind of talked with Captain Rex. He said that he was going to stay there and that Trespasser was coming. Captain Rex just basically went to the headquarters to talk to the crazy guy. Didn't really do much of anything. The crazy guy just gave everyone information about Trespasser coming. The battleship captain warned everybody that Trespasser was coming. The Gotengo pilot was the guy who got killed from Trespasser. And then, you know, basically, not too many characters. I thought they were right characters. It's just they were all voiced by Michael Zillacraft, and they hardly even got any lines. So, if you have characters that were all voiced by the same person and that barely got any screen time in the movie, it's hard to really give your thoughts on the characters. So, I guess they're all right, I guess. That's all I can really say. Now it's time to go to my thoughts on the music. So the music is basically like, you know, stock music from Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla 2002. Now I forgot or Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Now I forgot if there was any other music that he used. The music was pretty good. It really sets the tone for the movie. I mean, you have Alexandre Desplat's movie mostly taken off the movie. It really went good with Trespasser being a giant kaiju, so yeah, and the intro music was pretty good. It was Godzilla against Mechagodzilla's theme. Almost everyone loves that theme. And then, no, what I really don't like, though, is how he did not use music during the final battle between Godzilla and Trespasser. There was no music whatsoever, which kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say it sucked, but it kind of dragged it a bit down, because if you don't have music in a fight, it just doesn't set up the tone for a monster movie. You see, that's the whole point of monster movies. You have the giant monsters destroy everything, you have the humans try to figure out how to stop them, and then you have the good music to set the tone for the movie. But you know what, there was no music whatsoever in the movie when they're fighting. So it kind of disappointed me a bit. I think there was fighting music at the end of the movie, but yeah, there was like no music during the first few minutes of the fight, which was alright. But, you know. Now, for the whole purpose of the review, now it's time to go to my thoughts on the kaiju action. So the kaiju action, it was good in a way. So for the first fight, you have Trespasser dragging down a battleship with his hands. The Trespasser goes to the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, when Trespasser goes to the Golden Gate Bridge, he fucking wrecks that piece of stuff off. He just rips it apart, then he lifts it and throws it and stuff like that. Like, he wrecked the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, no kidding, no lie, he wrecked the Golden Gate Bridge. So then Trespasser went on to destroy some of the buildings, but he fought the Gotengo. Now, again, the Gotengo, like I said before, it's one of my favorite vehicles. And for those of you, like, I don't know, like Azariah, or, you know, people who I generally talk to, you guys know that I am a Atragon / Gotengo fanboy, because I really love that ship. Like, just how the ship looks like, it looks so cool. It has, like, a drill, it has all this stuff on it, and it was always such a tough opponent for me in Godzilla Unleashed. Like, he was very tough for me. It's like the toughest opponent if you put it on the hard difficulty, because his missiles and stuff does so much damage, and that's why I really like the Atragon. But it was taken down by one hit from Trespasser. In reality, the Atragon might actually kill Trespasser. It's like, if missiles and jets could take down Trespasser, then surely the Gotengo could take out the Trespasser. And surely Godzilla could take down Trespasser too. So yeah, that fight really ended pretty quickly. And then the next fight was Godzilla versus Trespasser, which was the final fight. Now, like I said in my thoughts on the music, Godzilla, when they first fought, they had no music whatsoever. There was no sound. Like, you just saw Godzilla Trespasser moving pretty slowly, but there was no sound for the roars, and there was no music. So, personally, if you're gonna have the final battle like that, it kind of makes the movie anticlimactic. It makes the movie a bit dragged down. And it also doesn't really give the monsters too much sound. So, yeah, it kind of dragged down the movie for me if you don't have music nor sound effects during the fight, because it's like saying, it's like basically, it's like, if you want to describe it, it's like you're watching Godzilla 2014 and you click the mute button when they're fighting. That you're not gonna like it on mute. You're gonna want to hear Godzilla's awesome roar. You're gonna want to hear the Muto stomping effects. You're gonna want to hear the atomic breath. But you know what? There was no sound whatsoever during the first few minutes of the fight. However, the sound did reappear when Godzilla shot his atomic breath, but that was really it. So basically what happened, Godzilla shot his atomic breath. Trespasser was like, you know, he was weak. Then he charged up his orange atomic breath, and then that's what he shot at. So I assume that's supposed to be a spiral, but if I remember correctly, it was orange red, not just general orange. So I guess he gave, like, you know, creativity for the atomic breath. Yeah, the Kaiju action was pretty good though. It's just the flaws. The Atragon went down in one hit, and there was no sound effects for the fight, or even music. Now it's time to go to my next final thoughts on the movie and final rate. So again, first let's just go over the set that Michael used for the movie, since I didn't go over that, which was something that XX Space Wing went over, so shout out to you for giving me that idea for thoughts on the set. Now, the set is, in every Michael Zillacraft Godzilla movie or Ultraman movie, the set is basically the same. You have the Pack of Destruction buildings, you have this giant rock that's sitting in the middle of nowhere for no apparent reason, and then you have the Golden Gate Bridge. So that's really it. Everything is from the Pack of Destruction. If he didn't have the Pack of Destruction, he would probably use something else. Now, what would he use for his movies? I have no idea. So yeah, the buildings do look good because they're from the Pack of Destruction. I love the Pack of Destruction buildings, but it's because some of the buildings are made out of paper. Now, I've seen movies where they use paper buildings, but the paper building that he has, it just doesn't really look as detailed as the other ones that I've seen. And then he also used toilet paper rolls, like some of the buildings, so it was like, I don't know, like a brown paper roll building, a cylinder building. Now, what was that supposed to show? I'm not really sure, but it just looked a bit weird. When I use buildings in my movies, I use the Pack of Destruction, but I also use the Hot Wheels and Matchbox sets as the buildings, and it actually does a pretty good job. I use the Pack of Destruction buildings for crashing effects. If I want to have a monster crash into a building, it works pretty well. In my opinion, I think it works pretty well. What else was there? I know there was something else. Oh yeah, so my thoughts on the set. The set basically takes place in San Francisco. Now, if you watch the movie, the set doesn't really look, it doesn't look like the greatest set, basically, in terms of positive speaking. In the background, you can see stickers, you can see posters, like you can see a Lego movie poster, you can see DVDs in the background, you can even see Michael Zillacraft's other figures in the background of the movie. So it really it's kind of a bit distracting the first time you watch. Like, when the first time I watched one of Michael's fan film, I was like, I could see your figures in the background. So if you haven't watched Michael's films, it's very distracting if you have like figures, boxes, stuff in the background basically, and it really takes away from, like, you know, the realism of the movie. Not by too much, but it kind of takes it away a bit in terms of speaking. Um, but yeah, it's not really like the best set ever, to be honest. It's alright though for what it is. So that's basically my final thoughts. Oh wait, I gotta go over rating. So my rating on the movie, I give the rating, I guess, a 4 out of 5 stars. Again, things that dragged it down for me: the lack of monster sound and music in the final battle, the way how the Atragon went down in one hit, which shouldn't happen in reality, and because of the set and how you have the room showing. Now, when I make a movie, I can't really be too harsh on him, because it reminds me of when I used to make my movies. When I used to make my movies, I used to do it on my bed. So it would show my wall, it would show the heater, it would basically show all this kind of stuff. And it would even show my blankets and stuff. But now I usually do my movies outside. If you guys could tell, I do my movies outside. And usually, instead of showing like a gate or something on my wall, I just use a blue cover, a blue, like, you know, a blue plastic table covering with clouds on it to make it look a bit realistic, and it does actually make it less distracting than what it used to be. So I kind of improved on my own movies, but I guess Michael still does his room. So final thoughts on the movie. So those are basically my final thoughts on the movie. It was a good movie. I did enjoy it, but it's those flaws that prevented it from getting a perfect 5 out of 5 stars. Now, if I was doing out of 10 stars, I would probably just say 8 out of 10 stars, because again, two things really dragged it down for me. Yeah, it was a pretty good film. You should check it out if you really want to. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys could probably tell, it got like really dark because the sky is a bit dark now, so that's why each time you look at this, you could barely see me until I fade out to the darkness. But yeah, basically, thank you guys for watching. Check out my other videos and stuff like that, and subscribe for more, and request a fan film that you want me to review if you have any ideas. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.